Millennials. What confuses you the most about Gen Z? Do none of you realize putting your entire lives on the internet is going to come back to bite you in the butt someday? I did, so I changed and deleted everything, and now I keep a normal profile on social media. I know about how I could get into danger or be denied a job. Yeah, this terrifies me as a millennial. The stuff I put out openly on Friendster, MySpace, then Facebook and Twitter is kid stuff compared to what's out there right now. When I went and got a big boy job, I made a point of deleting all my socials I could think of. And it's not like I want to be a public figure or anything, but there are still probably a few posts or videos that could mess things up for me. Every time I see kids doing wild crap in public while posting that openly to go viral, I just step back and think someday a job will be doing a background check on you and all of this will come out, and I end up just feeling bad for them. Yeah, I totally get this. Gen Z is really going hard on social media and not really thinking about the repercussions. The only thing is millennials did this too, just in a different way. Millennials started this, but Gen Z took it to an insane level. Why do some of them act like they pioneered the social media and the influencer boom? Or look at me surprised, because I have Snapchat. Many of these came out when millennials like me were in our early 20s and we were the core demographic. One of the more interesting things I've read said that the biggest mindfreak of getting older is talking to young people who will emphatically say things that are objectively false and argue that you don't understand things that you literally live through. The most infuriating example of this for me is hearing what happened during the 2008 recession by an 18-year-old. Motherfricker, you were still sleeping in a race car bed when that happened. A close second is being told what the internet was like in the 90s by someone who literally wasn't alive at that time. My boss's kids are in high school and they come by the office a lot. I asked her daughter what she thought the biggest difference between my generation and hers is, and she said social media. I asked what else, and she just said we're better at it. Like girl, I lived through social media before you were born. I can pick up and use TikTok and Reddit and Facebook because Facebook, Vine, Twitter, and Reddit were all around in high school and college for me. I told her to imagine someone being born in 2019 saying that she didn't really know social media, but of course it's not the same. I feel like in the past 3 years, millennials were supposed to be the stereotypical lefty teens, but Gen Z took that over. Now they just assume that millennials are more similar to boomers or something. I think the worst part about this isn't even the fact that they sometimes think they know better about past events, but sometimes they lack the ability to comprehend how bad those events actually were. I've seen videos where Gen Z say 9/11 isn't a big deal anymore because there are more important things to worry about. I can't imagine being like, well, the Challenger shuttle explosion happened before I was born, so it isn't a big deal because it's way behind us. You still need to understand certain events in history, so we all learn from them, and the only way we can learn is to put ourselves in those periods mentally and form empathy and compassion for the people involved in those events. Just because you weren't alive when something happened doesn't mean it wasn't a big deal. Where are all the Generation Z celebrities? Apart from Tom Holland and Zendaya, I cannot think of a leading man or woman in Hollywood in their 20s. Ryan Gosling is playing Ken in the Barbie movie, and he's freaking 41 years old. A ton of older celebrities are getting roles that actors never used to get at their age. It's actually been a big issue. The amount of actors doing action movies or other typically young roles in their late 40s and 50s is absolutely stunning. They're still considered breakout stars. The first real celebrity actors I've identified with for my age are the Stranger Things kids. You'll see them become more respected and famous as they make names for themselves. It doesn't help that all the actors are actively posting their entire lives on social media, including their idiotic ideas about things which they know nothing about. This ends up ruining any mystique and mystery. In the past, aside from Entertainment Tonight, it was hard to get a look at their private lives and behind the scenes. Their image was much more carefully curated and controlled, and some created a whole mythology behind their persona. That last answer is spot on. Actors no longer have a mysterious or glorified image because of two things. The first thing is that they post all of their crap on social media and people can follow and see what they are up to every day. They are no longer on a pedestal to most normal people. The second thing is that social media is able to dig and find things about people that were not previously possible in other generations, meaning it is very difficult for actors to even maintain a mysterious persona because the media will find out what they are up to no matter what. For a generation that grew up with Internet 2.0 and was handed an iPad at age 5, I'm baffled by how unsavvy they are with very basic and useful technology functions. Example, how to effectively Google something and navigate the search results, how to troubleshoot internet and connection issues, and how to not believe everything you see online. They're not using tech, they're using TechLite, which has been optimized to deliver content and generate ad revenue. If there is no profit motive, it's unlikely to happen. This is why the latest iPhone that needs replacing every 2 years has a much larger advertising budget than the PC that will last 10 years and cost only 25% as much. I teach university in Germany. My third semester students, so basically 18 to 22-year-olds, have to use a basic statistics program. For the past 3 years, it's become so obvious that a lot of them do not have basic computer skills. Stuff like directories are a mystery. They're also super afraid to mess up. They're hesitant to just try stuff out. Even if I get them to Google a problem and find a possible solution, they still feel the need to check in with me to see if it's correct, which they do not do outside of this specific topic. I also see it a lot in their approach to databases or online archives. They won't just click around to see if they can find the stuff or function they need. I'm in my late 20s, so not that much older, but I feel like the approach among me and my friends was always just, oh well, let's try it out. It's not like the PC will explode. Yup, this is very true. Gen Z did not grow up with computers though. They grew up with iPads and smartphones, which are completely different. Everything on a smart screen is accessible without a bunch of extra steps. But, on the flip side, I guarantee they know way more than us about smart tablets and phones. The only thing that confuses me is why they tend to believe everything they read online. Is this because everything is short-form content now? Are their attention spans so diluted that they only read the headlines and watch a 30-second clip explaining a topic? I'm not too sure, but either way, can you really blame them for not knowing as much about computers when they have literally everything they need in their phone? There are many pros and cons to this. I don't understand the rise of short-form videos like TikTok and YouTube Shorts. I will happily have a 4-hour video up in the background while I do things, and the short-form content annoys me. Even my preferred viewing experience when I'm actively watching is around a half hour. I can only assume the Generation Z population is part of the reason for short-form content taking over, and I just don't see the appeal. I totally agree with this. I am definitely a long-form video person myself, but I do understand why it's appealing. I mean, I have a theory at least. I think it's because they grew up with smartphones, so their attention spans probably aren't as long as previous generations. It's pretty much like modern channel surfing, except you get all of the information in 3 minutes or less. It's the same thing with Netflix releasing full seasons. People don't want to wait for things anymore. They need everything right now. Not just Generation Z, but everybody. Generation Z here. Generations are used as a massive generalization, usually for marketing, I think. Younger people use more technology because it's all we've ever known. Most people my age still read books and dress normally. We still talk offline. Not all of us have social media, but it is inherently intertwined with socializing now, especially with easier access to news, smart cars, and everything that has a smart screen. I don't think you can blame us for overusing technology. It's like giving a baby crack every day for its whole life and then suddenly stopping when they're a teenager and asking them why they are addicted to crack. Except the crack teaches you things and lets you connect with your friends. Almost everyone I know is hopeless. Most of us were born into a world that could have gotten better, and our childhoods were made up of watching things constantly get worse. So a lot of us turn to technology to distract ourselves from things. Because we're still young and can't do anything. Watching the world burn is depressing. I'd rather distract myself with memes. A lot of us lack ambition because we see everything crumble around us. Most of my mates know that we'll never be able to afford a decent house. People tend to be more open about mental health issues because it's much less stigmatized. All my mates are depressed. We talk about it and we understand each other and ourselves better. Perhaps some of those people posting constantly about it actually have it. Maybe they have something else. Maybe they just crave attention. I don't really know. I can't speak on that. Most of us do not have main character syndrome. Most people my age have horrible self-esteem and would rather be hit by a car than slightly inconvenience someone. Perhaps social media has shortened our attention span and made us dumb. Perhaps we are bad. But you let this happen. Everyone my age I know wants to learn. We don't want to just watch crap all day. We have a desire to learn, and at the moment, YouTube is often the best platform for doing that. I'm pretty sure the whole hating millennials thing is just made up. There are rude people, lazy people, mean people, etc. in every generation. You probably see Generation Z acting like knobs on TikTok because it gets the most views. No, I don't know why. We're still growing up. A lot of us are still teenagers, dealing with hormones and friendship and learning how to be a person. Please help us do that the right way. Obviously, I'm not able to speak for everyone. I don't know everything. I'm sorry. Oh my god, this is the post I needed to hear. And from someone who is actually legitimately Generation Z. After reading this, it honestly seems like they have the same problems that millennials had, but actually worse because they all had iPads and phones in their hands at the age of 4 and up. It's actually really sad, especially because millennials all complain about all of this stuff, but then millennials are the ones who raised Generation Z in the first place. Wow, that is crazy to think about also. Every generation always complains about the next generation, but at the end of the day, they were literally raised by you. And if they have a ton of shortcomings, a lot of that falls on you as parents.